Your attitude, your mindset, and your self-concept is going to be the catalyst that determines everything that you desire to have in this life. And what I've noticed, something about the universe, and even just between people, there's no coincidence that us people find charismatic people to be so attractive. There's something about their confidence and their relaxed state that is so attractive. And you know what? The universe also finds that very important when it wants to give people their desires. Because the universe doesn't like it when you're in a state of being stressed. It likes ease. It likes assurance. And that's why being and your state of being, your self-confidence, is so important.
In everyday life, we can also see it in our jobs, in how we handle family. For example, maybe you're having a 9-to-5 and you're not necessarily happy with your work environment, but you're staying there because you need the income. What if you were to flip it and think of it as a source getting you to what you actually desire in life? Because at every level we are learning new skills to be able to live in that level. Think of Jemima and I. We started off in this self-development journey by having no parents. Our dad had also just died, and we found ourselves in a state of either changing for the best or becoming depressed. Even so, people still thought they had a say in our lives. Mind you, we did take their advice with a pinch of salt, but because we were transforming our minds, God was really with us. We made sure to seek Him. We made sure to ask Him for guidance. People could not dictate our moves. We actually were the ones dictating our moves. Everything came from what mindset we decided to possess was one of success.
Exactly. At your rhyming.
Rhyming.
Poetry comes through.
It's so spirit. Like, I'm even surprising myself, guys. I'm even surprising myself.
This is why I believe that the law of detachment is one of the best laws that anyone can implement in their lives in order to manifest anything that they desire. Because with detachment comes a sense of knowing who the flip you are. So the universe is outside of this realm, correct? And although as human beings we are living in this realm, we have to think the way the universe thinks. We have to think multi-dimensionally. We are souls, and then we're living in a human body, not the other way around. So the universe isn't looking for necessarily what you're doing, how you look. It's looking for your state of mind and your mindset about life and things. The universe needs you to know that you are above everything in this world.
You're in control.
Yes.
You have the power. You dictate through your spoken word every single day how your life is progressing.
Yes, so it's looking for your state of mind. And when you realize who you are, when you realize the power that you have, when you realize that you are above every single thing in this world, that's when the universe is going to then give you your desires, because it's recognizing that you know that you are above these things, that nothing is out of your realm, everything is possible for you, and that quite literally your existence on here is a wonder in itself. So when you realize who you are and you realize that these things are just miscellaneous, it doesn't determine your wealth, it doesn't determine your worth, it doesn't determine your value. That's when the universe is like, okay, you know what? This lady, she knows who she is. She actually knows who she is. She's not listening to what people in the system is trying to program her to be. But she's actually aware of her power. And you know, when someone is aware of that power, the universe can also trust you with more on this earth, because they can see that you have the mindset to go about this world in a way that you're winning.
I learned that this 3D realm is actually not real. When I started to realize that it's not real, I looked at the world differently. When people would act up around me, I would think, you're not real, so I'm not going to actually waste my energy on you. Also, with regards to money, I think money is a topic that will forever be relevant because it's the commodity that we use in which to obtain things in life. Even though we know that it's actually through your emotion and visualizing the ideal life you desire. But it comes through someone having paid the price, literally. When you take money, but then you think of it as something that you attract. Say you've got $100 here. This $100 can be used to pay someone. You can decide to give it away. You can decide to make it into change. But have you ever thought of, I've always thought of this, Jemima, how is money actually able to just be attracted to me? Like literally, let's think in the 3D realm. And it comes through you providing a skill or service. It's never just going to fall out the sky. Trust and believe it. If it hasn't happened in this whole years of existing that the world has been living, it's not going to start happening now. So for you to have a higher sense of being, knowing that you're worth way more, you need to tap into those skills. Those skills come from reading books. Those skills come from attending, workshops, seminars. And those skills also come from things you decide to stop doing. When you starve distractions.
Yes.
When you start saying, instead of looking at who's watching your Instagram story, maybe think of what you can post that can actually bring you income. Then also thinking about what you can create and use the internet so that it can actually pay you. These are the ways you attract money. Then also starving the distractions of, for example, going back to the job example, distractions of people saying they broke, distractions of them saying they can't pay for this, they don't have enough money to go out and do all of this. Seclude yourself. If you hear people talking negatively, just go to another part of where you work. It's really simple, but these are the things that change your mindset in the long run. When you become self-aware, that's when your life will begin to change, because you'll start allowing and disallowing certain things in your life. If you keep allowing junk in your mind, this is essentially what happens. This is an example. Imagine this is your mind. So this is your mind. And we call this actually a paradigm. Everything that you allow in, it's literally polluting or cleansing your mind, which can look like it's actually a bowl of water. If you keep putting in toxicity, and I've already elaborated on what that could be, negative talking, not saying they have money, so lack and all of that. Imagine literally black dots filling up in your mind. That's where you become actually heavy. So these could symbolize black rocks. And you just feel so heavy, tired, you have mind block, etc. But if you were to have your mind, as we remember, your mind filled with positivity, that could literally look like lovely stars. So that you remember positivity. And essentially, what do stars do? They shine bright. Your aura, your countenance, you'll start becoming bright. You'll start taking up room in a space. People will start to notice you as you walk in, not just because of you looking great or dressing up, but because your countenance has changed. Why do you see some people just light up a room? It's because we have peace. We know who we are in Christ Jesus. We stand on business, so I've been told. Basically, we are not tolerating less than. And it's really a difficult place to get to if you think that you can never get to it. But once you decide that, actually, I love myself too much to settle for this when I should be receiving this, then trust and believe. The world, the universe will line up and follow suit. because they will know that we have encountered a king and a queen who know who they are. They know that they are royalty.
I love that. And something that I also would like to touch on that links to what you were saying is the whole thing of actually being self-obsessed. It's so, I would say, quite sad that we had to go from the word self-love to self-obsessed because self-love didn't seem good enough. It didn't seem enough. But that's actually one of the keys where it'll help you to change your frequency and brighten up your aura. Because at the end of the day, your aura, like Gabriella said, it's not about how you look. It's essentially about how you feel about yourself, what you know about yourself to be true.
Facts.
And then embodying that. And then people around you can see this and the universe can see this too. So what has helped for me personally is taking on this whole thing of being self-obsessed, because now the focus is on me. I've taken whatever thing that I desire or people that I desire in my life and I've taken them off that pedestal. I've put myself on that pedestal because, honey, whose life are you living? You're living your life. This is your life.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be focused on you, because let me tell you something. The desire that you want, the life that you want to live, you are going to get yourself there. It's all about you. You know, even with Christianity and Jesus, it's so often and easy that Christians can often say, oh no, I haven't gotten this because it's not my time, because God said it's not my time. Nonsense. And there's actually no such thing as time, but we'll touch on that in another video. God has done everything. Everything is done. Everything exists. Your desired reality exists. Things that you want exist. So what's left then? It's you. It's you left to obtain it. It's you left to be in that state where it's effortlessly attracted to you.
Yes, you might be thinking, okay, this is all well and good, Jemima, but how do I actually live this out in my life?
So firstly, it's all about your state of being, like I've been saying. But now, for instance, say you want to be a successful YouTuber, since we're here on this platform, YouTube. What do you actually need to do? You need to pick up your phone or your camera and actually start recording. There are things that, yes, you need to practically do because you are living in this 3D reality. But everything flows from your mind, okay? Mind is matter, not mind over matter. That's why you need to be in the create state of mind and then practically do what you need to do in order to get what you want.
And keep going, because even if, like you shared with me earlier about how this other YouTuber who also has actually had his grandpa learn from Neville Goddard in real life, like that's amazing. He was sharing that he doesn't manifest, he makes sure that he doesn't manifest everything he desires at once, because essentially when you manifest a new life, you actually become a new person. But even though your outside appearance might look the same, you yourself are a new individual. And I can testify and say that that is actually true. But I realize that I have also the power to decide, no, I still will know who I am at my core. Just now you see me on a yacht, which you will. You're not going to say, oh, but this is a completely different Gabriella Naki. Maybe in the outside appearance, with as in what I have in my life, it can be completely different. But I know who I am because God has literally given me the scripture and the Bible to follow and know who I am in Christ Jesus. But what you said, which was very powerful, was the fact that there are other versions of you existing at the same time. That's when we hear that people are talking about quantum leaping. And then I was thinking, okay, but now how do you yourself make sure that they wouldn't lose who they are? You know, especially times when you tell me, stop thinking you don't have this, and this. You already have it. You already are. How is that a way that they can actually build? How can they build it in their mind to remember? Because not everyone has a sister who can tell them, you already are that now. Come on. You know, sometimes she gets irritated with me and I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry, but thank you for being irritated because now I remember.
What I can, yes.
Yeah.
So what I can say is that it's important to have your fundamental beliefs and your core values. So it goes back to your state of being, because 95% of your actions is determined by your subconscious mind. That's a huge percentage, okay? And in order for you to change your reality, now you're living a different reality, like Gabriella said, you need to reprogram your subconscious mind, but essentially it's changing your frequency. And in order for you to change your frequency, you need to have an emotionally charged thought, an emotionally charged experience, because that is what shapes your reality. So when you become a different person, okay, you're living a different lifestyle, but you don't want to change who you are, just continuously have those emotionally charged thoughts and experiences about the type of person who you are, because now that's logged into your subconscious mind. That's responsible for 95% of your actions, the way you live your life.
That's true.
So that's how it's done.
Okay.
It's quite literally simple, but the world and gurus will also always try to make things be so complicated for their own gain, but it's actually really simple.
Yeah, I love that we bring the simplicity to it, because trust and believe, I don't have all that energy and time. It also becomes discouraging when you feel like you're doing the most but nothing is changing. Imagine all that energy and time, money. Some of you pay so much to be in rooms with these people, and it's not bad, but if you just get the basics, your whole life can change for the best. I actually want to share a testimony about how I was feeling I should be earning X amount of money, but myself, I wasn't seeing it in the 3D realm. I realized that I'm just going to leave it, and I detached, as Jemima was saying, and I let it go. And when I realized what was happening around me, I realized that the universe was trying to give it to me through other means that I necessarily wouldn't desire. So that has also given me excitement to just change that and transmute that energy into saying, okay, universe, I see you're planning to give me the money which I feel I should be earning or receiving rather every month. But now I'm going to tell you, you better do it through our businesses, because I don't want it any other way. And when you stand firm on that and know that you dictate your life, you have the power, you can start actually receiving your manifestations immediately.
Yeah.
I actually want to stress that point out, because there are so many beings and people who are going through life and they're like, yeah, life is tough, such as life. No, life is literally what you make it. If you're going to continue being the victim, complaining, life will treat you as you treat yourself. If you see yourself as someone who is always being mistreated, you will continue to receive mistreatment. That's why people who get that whole thing of they so-called have lucky girl syndrome. It's not lucky girl syndrome. They know themselves that they are lucky, but I know myself, I am blessed that even if I'm going through a tough time right now, and I do it in inverted commas, because remember I said that this 3D realm actually isn't real. You just need to learn the skills and get out of that situation and flip it around, change your perspective. That's when you start to see, oh my gosh, I need to go through that because it brought me A, B, C, and D.
Yeah. I want to emphasize the point that you're in control of your reality. If you believe life is hard, it's going to be hard. If you believe life is easy, it will be easy. Why not believe it's easy? And watch how the universe then makes it easy for you. Because for touching on that whole thing of the universe actually presented the opportunity to you, but not in a way that you would have desired it. Maybe you were having a state of mind thinking that it needs to be hard, it needs to be difficult in order to get that X amount of money.
100%. You're right, because I didn't necessarily see how I could do it. You know, I always had this thing of subconsciously, because of my environment, I thought I had to work so hard to get a life that I could only have even dreamed of, but I would only get half. Because I thought that, I don't have, these are all the limiting beliefs I had. And I'm sharing this with you so that you can also identify them and change and flip them. see a different perspective of like, I don't have that network of, my parents weren't wealthy. They didn't have people who were also wealthy in their lives, so you couldn't ask for favors. That's why I'm not where I want to be. And also that money itself needs to be attracted to me, but I don't have the skills to make money like all these digital creators and digital marketers have. It was just one excuse after the other, and I just thought, you know what, I'm actually just going to leave it. In terms of, I've identified that I have these limiting beliefs, but I'm not going to now stress over the fact that I need to replace it with something positive. I let it go and I said, God, help me. And then since then, I've actually realized there's been a different sense of energy, just been feeling different, because I guess I removed those blockages, I identified them, and they subconsciously have left.
Exactly.
Sort this out.
That's why. What?
It is slipping, yeah.
That's how I was saying in the beginning of this video, that the universe loves seeing someone who's confident. That's why charismatic people are deemed to be super attractive, because they have this calm, this passivity to them. And you'll notice when you actually stop trying and you actually give into your passivity, you'll see the power withdrawal commands.
Whoa. Yeah, that's so true.
Watch. You stopped trying, like, gotta do this, gotta do that.
I literally didn't care. And and it, like, you know, without sharing too much, but I actually had stopped caring. Because I actually felt a bit sad and upset with how my life was turning out recently. And I was thinking, I started off great and I felt like I was just being stagnant, and everything that I was desiring didn't seem like it was coming to pass at all this year. That even there were a few times I took that vision board off the wall and I put it under my bed, because I was literally crying huge tears. I wept. You know, when it said Jesus wept, I wept. And those are moments when you think, yeah, there's actually, what is the point to life? There is a point. There is a point. There is a point for you to live this life. You're more effective living than you are dead. So just because you might be going through something tough, it doesn't mean it's the end all be all. There is a silver lining. There is.
Because practically, haven't you even noticed that, for instance, this man comes up to you, he wants to be in your life, but you actually don't care. You're not interested in this, okay? You're not interested in him. But
clearly I'm not, because I can't remember who she's talking.
I'm giving an example.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
But haven't you seen that when such a situation takes place, you're able to now be yourself. You're completely relaxed, and that's actually when you're most confident, because you don't care about this person actually being in your life. But then what happens? That's actually even when the more they want to be in your life. That's the whole thing of detachment. When you stop actually caring and viewing things as they are above you, but we're all on the same level, that's when they flow into your life.